One of the other things we can do is when we're testing if statements out, we can use an if statement within an if statement to get further down into our problem. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have our user give us a number, and we're going to see if that number is first even or odd, and then based off that decide where the number falls. So as usual, we're going to set up a scanner. Scan keyboard equals new scanner system.in. Notice how I hit a space there? That was by accident. And then we're going to ask our user system.println, enter a number. Now, with this number, we want to decide if the number, first of all, is odd or even. So first, we need to set up an integer. We'll do keyboard.nextInt, and it should be okay with, we better initialize it first just to be safe. Number equals 0. So now we're going to see if number, now remember, to see if it's even or odd, we can use our modulus test, our remainder test, to see what the result is. So number remainder 2 equals 0. Then we know that the next statement is going to be working with the number if it's even. So we'll set those braces here. And we're going to go ahead and set up the else as well, meaning that the number is odd. And I'm going to go ahead and comment that right above each of these. That number is even, number is odd. From here, we can do a couple different tests. I'm just going to do one test for each one to show the if statement within. So within this, we can say that if the number remainder 4, when you do the modulus 4 equals 0, then system.out.println says the number is divisible by 4. Otherwise, so this is the if statement here. The else for this if that is inside, so ifception. The else would be system.out.println. The number is even, but not divisible by 4. So that would be like a 6 or a 10, something like that. So what we have here, again, so we have this if statement, seeing if the number is even, and then within here, these are, we call them nested ifs. That's the proper terminology. Our nested ifs, and you can continue to nest ifs within ifs, have this whole sequence. Let's go real quickly and do the same thing with our odds. So we're going to see if the number in this case is divisible by 5. So if number remainder 5 equals 0, then we can say system.out.println the number is divisible by 5. And there's only going to be a handful of numbers that they end with 5 and they're odd, then they're divisible by 5. Of course they're odd if they end that way. Within this else, we can have an else saying that system.out.println the number is odd but not divisible by 5. So we're going to get one sequence or another. We are going to get that the number is divisible by 4, the number is even but not divisible by 4, the number is divisible by 5, or the number is odd but not divisible by 5. And there is no limit to whether or not we can do else ifs within here, more ifs within the ifs. We're just doing a simple example here. I'm going to go ahead and run it. Enter a number. So let's first start with an 8. And it says the number is divisible by 4. If I run a 6, the number is even but not divisible by 4. Let's look at the odd numbers. Let's do a 13. The number is odd but not divisible by 5. However, 25 happens to be divisible by 5. So here we see that sequence where we could take a basic if statement, break it down, and then further break it down with additional if statements inside of that. And if we need to keep going and have this huge ifception, then we can do so.